Hi guys, my name is Dan Wellman. Welcome to the SVG Uncovered course. In this course we'll look at every aspect of SVG from its underlying format and specification to the applications it can be created with and everything in between. SVG stands for Scalable Vector Graphics and is a graphical format for displaying two-dimensional images based on an underlying markup structure. As the name suggests, graphics in SVG format are scalable and so can be viewed at any resolution without any degradation in quality. This is an obvious advantage over bitmap-based images like JPEGs or PNGs, which become blocky, fuzzy, or otherwise distorted at non-native resolutions. SVG graphics are scalable because, as also suggested by the name, they are vector graphics, as opposed to bitmap graphics, such as those we just mentioned. Bitmap-based images are literally a map of bits in a fixed grid, which represent the pixels making up the image. Vector images, on the other hand, are based on mathematical expressions which represent points, lines, and curves. Graphics in SVG are expressed using XML, and so can be edited or modified in any simple text editor. They can also be created entirely in a text editor, although unless you're creating only the simplest of shapes or compositions, it's recommended to use a vector-based image editor instead, at least to create the image. Vector-based design applications include Adobe Fireworks or Illustrator, which are obviously commercial applications, or one of the few free open source vector applications such as Inkscape, which we'll use when necessary throughout this course. SVG has been around for 10 years or so already, but it is only in the last few years that we've seen almost universal browser support for it. Older browsers, including IE 6, 7 and 8, and Android less than 3.2, don't support SVG. The older IE browsers support Microsoft's older VML specification. VML stands for Vector Markup Language, and this can be considered one of the precursors to SVG. If support for these older browsers is required, there are shims that fall back on Flash, such as SVG Web, or you can turn to VML instead. Mobile support for SVG is also very good these days, with most recent mobile OSs and browsers supporting it natively. The current recommendation is SVG 1.1, although other specifications and profiles do exist. For compatibility reasons, it is generally best to use SVG 1.1. SVG 2 is currently in development and became an editor's draft in June 2013, but it's likely to be some time before this specification is finalised. SVG has been used to create logos for some time due to its obvious benefits of being scalable and resolution independent. It also has a range of benefits for being used on the web and displayed in browsers. Primarily, SVG is pretty lightweight, as it's text-based and portable in the sense that it can be used both on the client and server, and it can be generated or manipulated with a wide range of languages. Plus, it's open source. Being text-based, it may also bring SEO benefits because search engines can easily index its content, and it can also very easily be made accessible to people using assistive technologies. SVG can also minimize HTTP requests, depending on how it's used. As SVG is text-based, it can be stored entirely within the web page or a style sheet, and so additional HTTP requests required to display images aren't always required. SVG elements can be styled with CSS, and SVG also has its own DOM, which means that it's very easy to make them interactive using standard JavaScript. Web developers can therefore apply a lot of their existing knowledge and skill without climbing a steep learning curve just to get started. So today we've learned a little bit about what SVG actually is and some of the benefits using it can bring. In the next lesson, we'll take a look at the underlying markup that describes a demo SVG image. Thanks for watching.